Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Darshawn McAway. You're tuned in to Wow Podcast. By all means, go to wowpodcast.me. That's wowpodcast.me. Now, today we have an all-star guest. I love it when she comes on. We have Cheryl LeGrand. Cheryl, how are you doing?
I am doing great today. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. I love to see your hustle and bustle online. But today we're going to talk about something that's very near and dear to your heart. You're coming out with a journal that's roughly around your book, Behind Closed Doors. Tell me a little bit more about your books and the journal.
The reason I wrote Behind Closed Doors, because a lot of times that's what people do. They live in a mask. They come out like everything is okay. And even online, you really can't see what's going on, whether it's mental abuse, physical abuse, or just financial or anything. So a lot of times we cover up and we come out. So I wrote the book for my viewers to let them know that regardless of what you are going through, whether it's cheating, physical or anything, physical, mental, or acting like everything is okay, I hope my book, when you read it, you will realize that you can come out from whatever it is beneath the hidden view that's what's going on with you.
Now, for a first-time listener, why don't you tell everyone who you are and how many books you have on the market already?
My name is Cheryl LeGrand. I'm originally from Newark, New Jersey, but I reside in Knightdale, North Carolina. I had 4 books, 3 ebooks, and a journal. And the reason why I wrote the books, number one, it was Married to Single, Behind Closed Door, Growth in Darkness, and my lupus book, which I am healed. And the reason why I did that, this was part of my life. I always wanted to write a book to be an inspiration to another Cheryl or to someone else and let them know that all things are possible through Christ. But the reason why I first wrote a book is to let my emotions out. A lot of people let it out on anger. A lot of people let it out on drugs or alcohol. I decided to let my emotions out by writing.
Throughout the past couple of years, I had the pleasure of speaking to you about a lot of different things. And your personality is very passionate about praying with everyone and making sure young people have the best relationships. What is some advice you would give to men and women on how to secure a strong relationship?
The first thing I would do is say pray and ask God to guide you. That's number one. A lot of times, and I'm learning from the past, we did a lot of stuff without thinking, stepping out on what we believe instead of asking God to direct us. And that's about anything. And I do talk to the youth because a lot of youth go through abuse as well as we do. And that starts from our mind or for what they see as growing up. A lot of things, whether it's addiction, whether it's abuse, or what's going on in the home. So as parents, we do have to be very careful, not only what we do, but we have to be careful what we speak and our actions, because it's a reflection of them when they get grown. Either you repeat or you do the opposite.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the marketing that you've been up to. You've been on quite a few different platforms. How is that treating you?
Honestly, I tell anybody, whatever you do, be consistent in what you do. And how that has helped me, it has raised the sales in my books, and it has actually blessed me to meet other authors in the process. But you have to be consistent in what you do about anything, because if you don't, no one can see or hear you. And the reason why I'm constantly out there, because I want to reach. It's not about me. It's about the young, the old. It's about showing everybody that you can step out on faith. It doesn't matter how old you are, and you can let somebody hear you, because sometimes they can't get to you. So whether it's an audio or writing a book, if it's nothing but one person, I hope I reach my views, and based upon what I went through and based upon what I know.
So this journal, is it a tiny notebook journal, or is it the standard composition size journal?
It's like a workbook, and the reason why I actually wanted to do that is, number one, to let your feelings out. When people are going through any kind of abuse or anything, sometimes they're afraid to talk to people about it, or they blame themselves because it's a mindset, it's mentally. So with a journal, I figured it could be a hidden place You can let out your emotions and your feelings. You can even lock it up in a safe. But we all need a place that we can let it out. And everybody don't have a friend or family, someone that they can talk to. And even after you pray and step out on faith and fast, sometimes you still need a hidden place where you can write something down and just to let your emotions out instead of hurting someone or, like I said, doing any kind of drug or anything. And I thought the journal, especially now with COVID-19, where there's so much going on financially, people are breaking up their marriages. I mean, it's a lot going on. So I feel that this will be a perfect time for a journal to let your emotions out.
Now, letting your emotions out, I got a chance to speak to, I believe it was Mildred Muhammad. She's the ex-wife of the DC sniper. He's since passed. And she was talking about being in a domestic abuse relationship, and you speak of the same things. One thing I'm always kind of hesitant to talk about is domestic violence, domestic disputes, because I haven't experienced it, but I'm learning that a lot of people are experiencing it since the COVID-19 is keeping people at home and the domestic violence has raised. Can you give some inspiration to, let's say, both parties? Let's say give some inspiration to the young lady who is listening to this show but trying to figure out a way to get out, and also the other way around, a young man who could be receiving some verbal or maybe physical abuse and he's trying to figure out how to get out.
The first thing I would say, whether you're young or old, as a woman, the first thing, if you can't tell friends or family, I will call the local police quietly, even if you got to do it at the grocery store, go to a library, or you can actually look on social media, and there are all kinds of different groups now, which is a blessing that you can also talk to someone, because once again, domestic violence is in your mind. A lot of times women will blame themselves, or either they're scared or they feel like there's no way out. But it is some way out, because I realize, too, with COVID, there's a lot of that, and it's hidden. And a lot of times they act like it's okay because of what they've seen, once again, when they was older, or they feel like they can't talk to no one. So if you're going through something right now and you hear me, if you can't talk to someone, please go on social media. There's all types of groups now, which is a blessing since internet, or you can call your local police. If you feel like you can't go out, if you go to the grocery store or anything, try to go privately and text someone or call 911 privately and let them know what you are going through. Because a lot of times people that's like that, they're scared to tell someone that they are going through that.
Now, in this particular conversation, I usually like to walk on eggshells because I personally feel like sometimes it's none of my business if someone has a disease. But since you openly talk about having lupus, is there a way you could talk to me about how you're managing your lupus?
Well, at first, when the doctor told me 8 years ago I had it, I kind of ignored it. And one thing that I learned when I was married, he was in the military, and I had great insurance, they was willing to give me all types of medicine. But after I got a divorce at that time and I didn't have insurance, they brushed me off. I went to the doctor year after year. I was having all kind of pains, and they didn't say anything until I got insurance again. So I would tell anybody, any kind of pain, continue to fight to know what you have. Go to the doctor before it gets severe. With me, I was blessed. I do have skin lupus, but I don't have to have chemo or anything. I do take medication. But they do tell us things, and everybody listen, what to do to kind of slow it down. Number one, stress will bring on lupus altogether. Number two, what we eat. And number three, what you drink. So a lot of times the doctors give us heads on, but we try to ignore it thinking that we can prevent it. But I'm a testimony of that. Order for any problem to get healed or situated, you do have to follow some kind of direction and Google the medicine that they give you for yourself. And I do have it. Sometimes for 2-3 days I'll be in pain, but I do know some of the reactions when it's coming, and sometimes I don't. But any excuse, and I'll tell anybody in life, you have to fight through the pain. Because if you don't, you're going to always want a pity party, and you're going to always find in your mind mentally what you can't do. So I don't listen to people like, oh, my gosh, you got lupus. No, because I know God has me. And a lot of times he brings these things on us, and I hate to say it, sometimes to get our attention, And sometimes it strengthens us. And my lupus has strengthened me in every area of my life.
Is there a way you can tell everybody to where they can follow you on social media and where they can go to purchase your books?
For me, you can follow me on Facebook, and on Facebook, my name is Cheryl Northern LeGrand. You can follow me on Instagram, where it's Northern LeGrand, and I have an author page that says Cheryl LeGrand, and also I'm on Amazon online. And for my viewers, what I wanted to say, anything in life, whatever you want to be, don't let nobody tell you different. And it is going to be a struggle. And it is going to be adversity. And there is going to be people that tell you cannot do it. But don't let your financial state, your mental state, and whatever's going on with you distract you from the gift that God has given you. And for me, even with kids, I had to push through. It's all in what you want in life. So it's always going to be a reason why you can't do your gift. It could be financially, it could be, your mate, whatever the case may be. And I'm a testimony through lupus, through raising kids, a single mom. All things are possible, but you have to push. And that doesn't mean that it's not going to be hard. And if you're looking for everybody to like what you do, then you're in the wrong business, because the only person need to love what you do is you.
Well, I'm your host, Darshawn McAway. You're talking to Cheryl LeGrand. She's talking to us about her latest journal that's coming out, Behind Closed Doors, where it's already available. Cheryl, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. Please, by all means, keep on coming back on to Wow Podcast. I love hearing from you. You're such an inspirational story.
And I love being on your show. You are truly a blessing to give us an opportunity. I pray that God continue to bless you. And yes, I will be back up here again. And I love that you give me the opportunity to come up here.
No problem. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.